What's up, everyone? 2025 has been an incredible year for Nintendo fans, with the Switch 2 launching and the original Switch still going strong. Today, we're counting down the top 25 perfect 10 out of 10 games you can play on both systems right now. These are the absolute best of the best. Games that nailed everything they set out to do. Whether you're rocking the original Switch or just picked up a Switch 2, these titles are must-plays. Let's get into it. Octopath Traveler 0 stands as one of the strongest turn-based RPG experiences on Nintendo Switch, thanks to how confidently it blends classic design with smart modern ideas. Combat builds on the familiar break and boost system, rewarding careful planning as you exploit enemy weaknesses, manage boost points, and switch characters between front and back lines to adapt without losing momentum. The expanded party system allows up to 8 characters in battle, encouraging deeper team synergy and flexible roles rather than rigid setups. Exploration remains a core pillar, with path actions giving each character unique ways to interact with NPCs, uncover side quests, recruit allies, and gain advantages that ripple through both combat and progression. A major addition is the town restoration element, where rebuilding the destroyed settlement of Wishvale becomes part of the journey, unlocking new resources, services, and narrative moments that make the world feel reactive and personal. Story-wise, the focus shifts from separate hero tales to a more unified narrative centered on loss, recovery, and rebuilding, supported by a large cast of characters whose side stories add texture and emotional weight.
Now.
Right. That hurt.
What should I do? It did be strong! Press the attack!
Absolum earns its reputation as a near-perfect Nintendo Switch experience by blending classic beat-em-up action with smart roguelite structure in a way that feels both familiar and fresh. Combat is fast and weighty, built around fluid combos, precise dodges, well-timed parries, and powerful special abilities fueled by mana, pushing players to stay aggressive while still reading enemy patterns carefully. Each playable character brings a distinct playstyle, from heavy melee bruisers to agile fighters and magic-focused builds, encouraging experimentation and replay. What truly elevates the gameplay is the roguelite progression. Every run offers branching paths, randomized encounters, and unlockable passive upgrades that meaningfully change how battles unfold, making no two playthroughs feel the same. Exploration constantly asks you to make choices that shape your build and risk-reward balance, whether you chase stronger abilities or play it safe to survive longer. The story provides a grounded fantasy backdrop, centered on a world where magic has been outlawed by a tyrannical power, giving narrative context to the repeated runs without slowing the pace. Astral Chain puts you in the role of a rookie officer in Neuron, a special police task force protecting the last human city from interdimensional invaders called Chimeras. The standout feature is the Legion system. You control both your character and a tethered creature called a Legion simultaneously. In combat, you're positioning your Legion to attack from different angles, wrapping the chain around enemies to bind them, or using it as a defensive shield. There are 5 different Legion types you unlock throughout the story, each with unique abilities. The Sword Legion for quick melee attacks, the Arrow Legion for ranged support, the Arm Legion for heavy hits, the Beast Legion for tracking and riding, and the Axe Legion for defense. Outside of combat, you're investigating crime scenes, using Legion abilities to find clues, question witnesses, and solve puzzles. The story follows your character and their twin sibling as they uncover a conspiracy involving the Chimera invasion and humanity's desperate attempts to survive. The game balances intense action sequences with detective work and exploration segments. The anime-inspired art style is vibrant and runs incredibly smooth, even during chaotic battles with multiple enemies on screen. Hollow Knight drops you into Hallownest, a vast underground kingdom of insects that has fallen into ruin. You play as a silent knight, exploring the interconnected caverns and cities, gradually uncovering what caused this once great civilization to collapse. The story is told subtly through environmental details, NPC conversations, and lore tablets, revealing a tragic tale of a kingdom's desperate attempt to contain an infection spreading through its people. Combat is built around precise nail attacks and timing you slash with your weapon, dodge enemy patterns, and eventually learn spells powered by soul that you collect by hitting enemies. Movement starts basic, but expands with abilities like dash, wall jump, and double jump that unlock new areas. The charm system lets you equip different passive abilities that dramatically change your playstyle. You can focus on healing, spell damage, melee buffs, or mobility. The map isn't automatically filled in. You need to buy maps from a cartographer and fill in details yourself as you explore. Boss battles are challenging tests of pattern recognition and reflexes. With over 40 hours of content, including multiple endings, hidden areas, and optional super bosses, Hollow Knight offers incredible value and stands as one of the best Metroidvania games ever made. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the ultimate kart racing package, with 48 tracks spanning the entire series' history, thanks to the Booster Course Pass DLC. Races take place across wildly creative courses. You're driving on walls and ceilings thanks to anti-gravity sections, flying through the air with hang gliders, and racing underwater with propellers. The item system keeps things chaotic and competitive, with shells, mushrooms, and the infamous blue shell targeting whoever's in first place. The roster includes 42 characters from across Nintendo franchises, each with different weight classes that affect handling and speed. The game supports up to 4 players locally in split screen and up to 12 players online. Beyond standard racing, Battle Mode features dedicated arenas with modes like Balloon Battle, where you pop opponents' balloons, and Shine Thief, where you fight to hold on to the Shine Sprite. The 200cc mode added for this version is brutally fast and requires mastering the brake drifting technique. Smart steering and auto-accelerate options make the game accessible for younger or less experienced players, while veteran racers can turn these off for full control. Octopath Traveler 2 refines everything from the first game while telling 8 separate stories that gradually connect in meaningful ways. Set on the twin continents of Celestia during an era of exploration and industrialization, you choose one of 8 protagonists, each with their own motivations, home regions, and narrative arcs spanning multiple chapters. A thief seeking revenge, a merchant avenging her family, a hunter tracking a dangerous criminal, a scholar searching for a legendary tome, an apothecary investigating a deadly poison, a dancer freeing people from mind control, a cleric on a pilgrimage, and a warrior protecting his homeland. The turn-based combat uses the break and boost system, where you exploit weaknesses to break enemy defenses, then spend boost points accumulated each turn to power up your actions. The new day-night cycle affects NPC locations, path actions available, and even some dungeon layouts. Latent powers are new ultimate abilities unique to each character that charge during battle. The job system returns, expanded with new classes to unlock, allowing deep customization of your party. Side stories, called Crossed Paths, show characters interacting with each other, adding depth to their relationships.
Prepare yourself. My blade sings. It's my turn. I'll cut you down.
Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles remains one of the most respected strategy RPGs on Nintendo Switch, thanks to its unmatched blend of deep mechanics, deliberate pacing, and a mature, grounded narrative. Battles unfold on isometric, grid-based maps, where positioning, elevation, turn order, and timing are just as important as raw stats, pushing players to think several moves ahead rather than react on instinct. The charge time system makes turn flow transparent, allowing careful planning around enemy actions, while terrain and facing add extra tactical weight to every decision. Its iconic job system is the backbone of progression, letting characters learn abilities from multiple classes and combine them freely, creating highly customized units that reward experimentation and long-term planning. Outside of combat, managing equipment, recruiting allies, and refining builds becomes just as engaging as the battles themselves. The story follows Ramza Bulv during the Lion War, delivering a politically driven tale of class struggle, betrayal, and moral conflict that treats its themes with rare seriousness for the genre. Enhanced presentation and quality of life refinements make the experience smoother without diluting its complexity, resulting in a tactical RPG that still feels intelligent, demanding, and emotionally resonant, even years later.
Leave it to me. By divine will unencumbered, by darkness empowered.
A Short Hike is a peaceful exploration game where you play as Claire, a bird visiting Hawk Peak Provincial Park, who wants to reach the mountain summit to get cell phone reception. The entire game takes place in this small open island, packed with things to discover, hidden trails, caves with treasure, characters to meet, and activities like fishing or beach stickball. Movement is simple but satisfying. You can run, climb surfaces, and glide through the air. Golden feathers scattered around the island permanently increase your stamina, letting you climb higher and glide farther. There's no combat or fail states, just pure exploration at your own pace. You can go straight for the summit in about an hour, or spend several hours finding every collectible, helping the various park visitors with small quests and discovering secret areas. Characters you meet range from a park ranger giving hiking tips, to a runner training for a race, to a kid looking for buried treasure. The dialogue is charming and often funny without trying too hard. The pixel art style uses a subtle screen filter that gives everything a soft, painterly quality. The soundtrack by Mark Sparling perfectly captures the feeling of a breezy day in nature. Celeste is a precision platformer about Madeline, a young woman determined to climb Celeste Mountain despite battling anxiety and self-doubt. The story tackles mental health directly. Madeline encounters a dark reflection of herself, representing her negative thoughts and fears, and the journey becomes as much about accepting herself as reaching the summit. Mechanically, you have a jump, a wall climb with limited stamina, and a dash that recharges when you touch the ground. These simple controls combine to create increasingly complex platforming challenges. Each chapter introduces new mechanics wind that pushes you around, blocks you can dash through that give your dash back, springs that launch you, and moving platforms requiring precise timing. You'll die hundreds of times, but respawns are instant and checkpoints are generous, keeping frustration minimal. B-sides and C-sides are brutally difficult alternate versions of levels for players who want even more challenge. Strawberries are optional collectibles that require creative solutions to reach. Assist mode lets you adjust game speed, add invincibility, or give yourself infinite stamina, making the game accessible without removing the satisfaction of overcoming obstacles. The pixel art is gorgeous, with detailed backgrounds and smooth animations. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is widely regarded as a defining open-world experience on Nintendo Switch, thanks to how freely it lets players explore, experiment, and shape their own journey. Hyrule is built around interconnected systems rather than scripted solutions, with physics and chemistry driving everything from combat to puzzle solving, encouraging creative approaches like using fire, wind, electricity, and terrain to your advantage. Exploration is completely open, allowing you to climb nearly any surface, glide across vast landscapes, and uncover shrines, secrets, and environmental storytelling at your own pace. Combat emphasizes adaptability through weapon durability, elemental interactions, shields, bows, and rune abilities, making encounters feel dynamic and tactical instead of repetitive. Outside of fighting, survival elements such as cooking, stamina management, and gear selection tie directly into how you approach both exploration and battles. The story unfolds subtly through memories and world details, portraying Hyrule's fall and Link's quiet determination to confront Calamity Ganon, favoring atmosphere and discovery over heavy exposition. On original Switch hardware, the game targets 30 frames per second, while the Switch 2 version benefits from a smoother 60 frames per second performance, improved responsiveness, and sharper visuals, making traversal and combat feel more fluid, and reinforcing why Breath of the Wild is still considered a near-perfect adventure. Kirby and the Forgotten Land marks the Pink Puffball's first full 3D adventure, taking place in a post-apocalyptic world where nature has reclaimed abandoned human civilization. Kirby gets sucked through a vortex to this mysterious land and must rescue Waddle Dees kidnapped by the Beast Pack while uncovering the secrets of this forgotten world. The gameplay evolves the classic Kirby formula into 3D. You still inhale enemies to copy their abilities, but now you're navigating 3D environments with platforming, combat, and exploration. The big innovation is Mouthful mode, where Kirby swallows massive objects he can't fully inhale. Cars let you drive and ram through obstacles. Vending machines let you shoot cans at enemies. Stairs become a traversal tool, and even a traffic cone becomes a drill for digging underground. Copy abilities have been upgraded, with evolution paths that make them more powerful, like Ranger Kirby getting homing shots, or Sword Kirby gaining new combos. The level design is creative, with multiple Waddle Dees hidden in each stage, encouraging exploration and replay. Treasure Road challenges are time trials that test your mastery of specific copy abilities. Persona 5 Royal puts you in the shoes of a high school student falsely accused of assault, who gets probation and transfers to a new school in Tokyo. You and your friends discover the ability to enter the metaverse, a cognitive world where people's distorted desires manifest as palaces, dungeons, representing their corrupted hearts. Your group becomes the Phantom Thieves, stealing the hearts of corrupt adults abusing their power to force them to confess their crimes. The game brilliantly splits time between dungeon crawling and daily life simulation. During the day, you attend school, build relationships with confidants that provide gameplay benefits, study to raise stats, work part-time jobs, or explore Tokyo. At night, you can train, craft items, or infiltrate palaces. The turn-based combat focuses on exploiting enemy weaknesses to knock them down and trigger all-out attacks, where your entire party rushes the enemy. Personas are the manifestations of your inner self that you use in battle. The protagonist can wield multiple personas that you catch, fuse, and customize, while party members each have their own signature persona that evolves. Each palace is a unique themed dungeon with stealth elements, puzzles, and a powerful boss at the end, representing the palace ruler's distorted cognition. Metroid Prime Remastered. Set on the hostile planet Talon 4, the game revolves around gradual progression, with players unlocking new abilities for Samus's power suit that expand movement options, combat strategies, and access to previously unreachable areas, creating a tightly interconnected world that rewards curiosity and backtracking. Combat is paced and tactical rather than frantic, relying on lock-on targeting, beam switching, missile management, and careful observation of enemy behavior, while boss encounters emphasize pattern recognition and smart use of upgrades. A defining mechanic is the scan visor, which transforms exploration into investigation by revealing lore, environmental storytelling, and enemy data, allowing the narrative to unfold naturally through discovery instead of heavy exposition. The story follows Samus's solitary mission against space pirates and the corrupting influence of Phazon, conveying isolation and tension through music, level design, and subtle world building. The remastered presentation enhances lighting, textures, and controls without compromising the original pacing. On Switch hardware, the game runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, while the Switch 2 version maintains 60 frames per second with improved resolution and stability, making exploration and combat feel even more fluid and reinforcing its status as a near-perfect sci-fi adventure. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is a faithful remake of the GameCube classic that many consider the best Paper Mario game ever made. Mario travels to Rogueport, a harbor town full of criminals and misfits, searching for Princess Peach, who's been kidnapped, while investigating the legendary treasure behind the Thousand-Year Door. The story is surprisingly dark for a Mario game, dealing with themes of possession, betrayal, and ancient evil sealed away centuries ago. Combat is turn-based, with timed button presses. Hitting A at the right moment makes your attacks stronger and lets you block enemy damage. You're also managing flower points to use special moves and items during battles. Partners join throughout the adventure, each with unique abilities both in and out of combat. Goombella headbonks enemies and provides tattles. Koops can hit distant switches with his shell. Bobbery explodes to clear obstacles, and so on. The badge system lets you customize Mario's abilities by equipping badges that modify stats, add new moves, or provide passive benefits. But each badge costs badge points, so you're constantly making strategic choices. The paper aesthetic is used brilliantly for puzzles you fold into a paper airplane to cross gaps, roll into a tube to slip through fences, or become a paper boat to sail across water. Hades is a roguelite dungeon crawler where you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, repeatedly attempting to escape the Greek underworld to find your mother Persephone and learn why she left. Each run takes you through 4 regions: Tartarus, Asphyxia, Elysium, and the Temple of Styx, fighting through procedurally generated rooms filled with enemies before facing challenging bosses. Combat is fast-paced hack-and-slash action, where you dash around arenas, use your primary weapon, cast a special attack, and deploy a call to summon gods temporarily. The weapon variety is excellent: the sword for balanced combat, the spear for range, the shield that can block and throw, the bow for ranged damage, the fists for rapid hits, and the gun for aggressive close-range attacks. Each weapon has multiple aspects that completely change how they function. Between rooms, you choose boons from Olympian gods that modify your abilities. Zeus adds chain lightning, Athena provides deflection, Artemis gives critical hit chance, Poseidon offers knockback damage. The genius is how boons synergize to create wildly different builds each run.
Dead to the last.
Super Mario Odyssey is often seen as a perfect example of modern 3D platforming on Nintendo Switch, thanks to its fluid mechanics, inventive level design, and constant sense of discovery. Gameplay is built around tight, responsive movement, where classic Mario actions like long jumps, wall jumps, dives, and precise landings feel as satisfying as ever, but are elevated by the capture mechanic that lets Mario use Cappy to take control of enemies and objects, completely reshaping how you solve puzzles, reach hidden areas, and approach challenges. Each kingdom functions as a compact sandbox filled with vertical exploration, secrets, optional objectives, and creative platforming tests that reward curiosity without forcing a rigid path. The structure encourages experimentation, letting players collect power moons in dozens of different ways rather than following a single solution. The story keeps things light and charming, following Mario's globe-trotting chase across colorful worlds, with strong personality and visual variety, giving each location its own identity. On a technical level, the game is extremely smooth, and on Nintendo Switch 2, it runs at a locked 60 frames per second with noticeably higher resolution. Dragon Quest XI's is often considered a benchmark for turn-based JRPGs on Nintendo Switch, thanks to how confidently it blends traditional mechanics with thoughtful, modern refinements. Combat follows a classic turn-based structure that prioritizes strategy and readability, allowing players to plan actions carefully while keeping battles smooth and approachable through clean menus and optional pacing adjustments. Character progression is handled through flexible skill panels that encourage specialization without overwhelming complexity, making party building feel rewarding over the long journey. Exploration is a central pillar, with a vast, cohesive world filled with towns, dungeons, secrets, and side quests that naturally support steady progression and discovery. Outside of battles, features like crafting, equipment management, and optional activities add depth, while staying tightly connected to the main adventure. The story centers on the Luminary, delivering an emotionally driven narrative about destiny, friendship, loss, and perseverance, supported by strong character arcs and well-paced storytelling that unfolds naturally rather than relying on heavy exposition.
Fight, fight, and fight some more!
Fire Emblem Three Houses is a standout tactical RPG on Nintendo Switch that combines deep strategy with strong character-driven storytelling. Gameplay is built around turn-based, grid-focused battles, where positioning, terrain, weapon types, battalions, and combat arts all play crucial roles, rewarding careful planning over brute force. Between battles, the experience shifts to the monastery, where you act as a professor, teaching students, developing their skills, managing schedules, and building relationships that directly affect performance on the battlefield. This blend of tactical combat and social simulation gives players meaningful control over character growth and party composition, making every run feel personal. The Divine Pulse system allows limited rewinds during battles, easing frustration while still preserving the importance of smart decision-making. Story-wise, the game is set in the continent of Fodlan and revolves around 3 rival houses, each representing a different ideology and leadership style, with your choice dramatically shaping the narrative. What begins as political tension gradually escalates into full-scale war, exploring themes of loyalty, power, morality, and the cost of conflict through layered character arcs and shifting alliances.
Sufficient. The better to serve His Highness. Weak! Luck wasn't with you.
Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 are often regarded as some of the finest examples of 3D platforming, thanks to their inventive mechanics and exceptionally focused level design. Gameplay is built around gravity-based exploration, where Mario runs across small planets, floating platforms, and spherical worlds that constantly shift perspective and momentum, demanding precise control and spatial awareness. Core moves like jumping, spinning, wall kicking, and long jumps feel incredibly tight, while the spin mechanic plays a key role in combat, puzzle solving, and mid-air correction. Each game introduces creative power-ups that significantly alter movement, such as Bee Mario for hovering, Boo Mario for phasing through obstacles, Cloud Mario for creating temporary platforms, and Yoshi's tongue-based traversal, ensuring that mechanics stay fresh throughout the adventure. Rather than open-ended exploration, both games focus on compact, handcrafted stages, with every galaxy designed around a clear gameplay idea that evolves naturally and maintains strong pacing. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake reintroduces the origins of the Erdrick saga with a careful balance between classic design and modern refinement, making it feel both nostalgic and approachable. Gameplay stays rooted in traditional turn-based combat, using clear command menus that emphasize strategy and preparation over speed, while modern adjustments improve pacing and readability without altering the core flow. The first adventure focuses on a lone hero's journey across Alefgard, encouraging steady exploration, dungeon delving, and resource management, while the second expands the formula with a full party system that introduces deeper tactical planning through varied abilities and spells. Exploration is strengthened by the HD 2D presentation, which gives towns, overworlds, and dungeons a richer sense of scale while preserving the charm of pixel-based environments. Storytelling remains simple but effective, following the legacy of Erdrick through a classic good versus evil structure that gradually grows into a broader tale of threatened kingdoms and shared destiny. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is widely regarded as a near-perfect open-world adventure, thanks to how boldly it expands player freedom and systemic gameplay. The world of Hyrule is designed around physics-driven interaction and vertical exploration, letting players climb, glide, and freely move between the surface, vast underground areas, and floating sky islands. New abilities such as object fusion, vehicle construction, and vertical traversal tools encourage creative problem-solving, allowing puzzles and combat encounters to be approached in countless ways rather than fixed solutions. Combat remains flexible and reactive, blending traditional swordplay with environmental tactics, elemental effects, and improvised tools built from the world itself. Exploration is deeply rewarding, driven by curiosity rather than markers, with environmental storytelling and subtle clues guiding discovery. The narrative unfolds gradually through memories, ancient lore, and character encounters, presenting a darker, more mysterious tone as Link uncovers the truth behind Hyrule's upheaval, while maintaining quiet, reflective moments between major events. On original Switch hardware, the game targets around 30 frames per second, with occasional drops during complex physics scenes, while the Switch 2 version runs at a smooth 60 frames per second with significantly higher resolution, reaching around 1440p in docked mode and sharper visuals in handheld play, making traversal and large-scale interactions feel far more fluid and responsive. Hades' two shifts focus, from Zagreus to his sister Melinoe, a witch trained from birth by Hecate to defeat Kronos, the Titan of Time who has escaped his prison, conquered the underworld, and imprisoned Hades and the Olympian gods. Melinoe must fight her way from the Crossroads, her training ground, through multiple regions both within the underworld and on the surface world to gather power and allies for her mission. The combat builds on the original's fast-paced action, but gives Melinoe her own distinct playstyle. She uses witch magic and ritual techniques alongside traditional weapons. Her starter weapon is a witch's staff that can attack at range, but you'll unlock others like the Moonstone Axe for heavy hits and the torches for rapid-fire damage. The Omega Cast system lets you hold buttons to charge more powerful versions of your special attacks at the cost of channeling time. Sprint is now a standard ability that consumes a new resource called Magic, which also fuels your special attacks and creates more strategic resource management during combat. Boons from the Olympian gods return, but with new gods like Apollo and Hestia joining the roster, each offering unique build paths. The Crossroads serves as your hub, where you gather materials to perform rituals that unlock permanent upgrades, new weapons, and story progression.
A palm of power.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 takes place in the world of Ionios, where two nations, Keves and Agnes, are locked in an endless war. Soldiers are born from pods and live only 10 years, called terms, with their entire existence defined by fighting and performing homecoming ceremonies when their term ends. You play as Noah from Keves and Mio from Agnes, who along with their respective parties cross paths during a mission and discover they can fuse into powerful Ouroboros forms. This chance meeting leads them to question everything about their world, the war, and the mysterious figures manipulating both nations. The real-time combat system is the most refined in the series. You control one character, while AI handles your party, using auto attacks to build up arts, which are special abilities with cooldown timers. Positioning matters, with positional arts dealing bonus damage from specific angles. Talent arts are powerful, character-specific abilities that charge through combat. The class system lets any character learn any class, allowing incredible customization as you mix abilities from multiple classes. Fusion arts combine two arts into one powerful hybrid attack once you've mastered classes sufficiently. Chain attacks return improved, letting you build up orders to extend combos and deal massive damage to tough enemies. Donkey Kong Bananza is praised as a standout experience, thanks to how confidently it reinvents classic Donkey Kong gameplay through large-scale 3D platforming and heavy environmental interaction. At its core, the game focuses on physicality and momentum, letting Donkey Kong punch, roll, climb, throw objects, and smash through large portions of the environment, turning destruction into a key part of both exploration and puzzle solving, rather than a simple visual gimmick. Levels are built as layered spaces filled with secrets, alternate routes, and hidden rewards that encourage curiosity and experimentation, with terrain that can be reshaped to uncover shortcuts or valuable collectibles. Progression is driven by gathering special resources, used to upgrade abilities, unlocking new movement options and combat techniques that steadily expand how you approach challenges. Gameplay variety is further enhanced through temporary transformation abilities that boost strength, speed, jumping, or traversal, keeping platforming fresh across different biomes and encounters. Combat blends naturally into exploration, favoring crowd control and environmental awareness over complex combos, while boss fights test mastery of movement and destructive tools. Hollow Knight Silksong stands as a refined evolution of the Metroidvania formula, delivering a faster, more aggressive take on exploration-driven action, while maintaining a strong sense of atmosphere and discovery. Gameplay revolves around precise 2D movement, with Hornet's agile jumps, wall traversal, and acrobatic attacks allowing players to move through the world with speed and control, emphasizing momentum and positioning over slow, methodical combat. Fights are designed around quick reactions and smart spacing, supported by a wide range of tools, traps, and special abilities that add tactical depth beyond basic strikes. Exploration is tightly interconnected, encouraging mastery of movement upgrades to uncover shortcuts, secrets, and optional challenges across a vertically layered world filled with handcrafted environments. Progression is tied to gathering resources used to craft and enhance equipment, giving players meaningful choices in how they shape their playstyle. Storytelling remains subtle and atmospheric, following Hornet's journey through the unfamiliar kingdom of Farloom, where themes of identity, duty, and transformation are conveyed through environmental details, NPC dialogue, and visual cues rather than direct exposition. Combined with striking hand-drawn visuals, a haunting tone, and demanding yet fair design, Silksong delivers a deeply rewarding experience that balances skill-based gameplay with rich, understated storytelling.
And there you have it, the top 25 perfect 10 out of 10 games on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 in 2025. From Zelda's revolutionary creativity to Silksong's long-awaited perfection, these games represent the absolute peak of what gaming can achieve. What's your game of the year from this list? Are you Team Zelda or Team Silksong? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.